warehouse door was open, not broken, not forced, just open, half an inch, like someone had left in a hurry, or like someone wanted to be followed. Jun Hyuk stood 30 feet back, hands buried in his coat pockets, eyes fixed on that sliver of darkness between door and frame. 6 men in tactical gear flanked him, waiting, tense. Lieutenant Park stood closest, hand hovering near his concealed weapon, scanning rooftops and shadows. "Sir," Park said quietly, "that door should be sealed, chain-locked. We haven't touched this location in 8 years." Jun Hyuk didn't respond. Through that crack, a light, weak, flickering. Someone had power in there, recent power. "The girl?" Jun Hyuk asked, voice flat. "Entered 2 minutes ago, alone. She didn't hesitate." Jun Hyuk's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Amara hadn't stumbled into this warehouse. She'd walked here with purpose, like she'd been here before, or like someone had told her exactly where to go. "The 2 tails from Han Min-jun?" he asked. "Holding position 1 block south. 8 men, armed but cautious. They're waiting for something." "And the 3rd vehicle?" Park's expression darkened. "Still circling, different pattern, military discipline, rotating positions every 90 seconds. Professional." Jun Hyuk finally looked at him. "Not ours?" "No, sir. And not Yakuza. Not Busan crew. Not anyone we've cataloged." The night air was cold. Seoul's distant hum felt miles away despite being blocks from civilization. Jun Hyuk started walking toward the warehouse, slowly, deliberately. Park fell in step, gesturing for the team to spread into defensive formation. When Jun Hyuk reached the door, he didn't push it open immediately. He listened. Silence. Then, footsteps. Light, measured, female. Moving deeper inside. He pushed the door wide. The space swallowed sound. Vast, empty except for rusted machinery that hadn't moved in over a decade. Stacked wooden crates rotting in corners, and 15 years of accumulated dust that hung in the air like fog. The flickering light came from a single emergency fixture dangling crooked from the ceiling on frayed wiring. Someone had turned it on recently. The bulb was still warm enough to hum. Amara stood in the center of the concrete floor, not hiding, not crouched, standing, back to the entrance, staring at the far wall like it held answers written in a language only she could read. "If you're just joining us, welcome, but you're about to be lost." This is part 2 of a story that started with a smile that should never have happened. A mafia boss who never smiles. A desperate girl who stepped into his world, and a secret 15 years old that's about to destroy them both. Go back and watch part 1 right now. Seriously, the link is in the description. This story doesn't work unless you know how we got here. For everyone else who's been waiting, let's continue. Jun Hyuk stepped inside. His footsteps echoed despite his careful placement. His men fanned out along the perimeter. 6 shadows with weapons low but ready. "You knew this place," Jun Hyuk said. "Not a question." Amara didn't turn. Her voice came quiet, steady, too steady for someone who should be terrified. "My father worked here." Jun Hyuk moved closer. 5 more steps, then stopped. "This is where he laundered your money," she continued. 2009, Lagos operation, import-export on paper, cash flow underneath. "You said you didn't remember Lagos." Now she turned. Her face looked different under the harsh emergency light. Exhausted, hollow, but her eyes were sharp, clear, like she'd been waiting 15 years to stand in this exact spot. "I lied," she said simply. Jun Hyuk's hand moved fractionally toward his jacket, where his gun sat, loaded. "I was 8, Amara continued, but I remember pieces, sounds, smells. My father's voice on the phone at 3 a.m. speaking Korean, even though we lived in Lagos." She paused. "I remember this warehouse, the way it smelled like oil and something sweet that I didn't understand then. What do you understand now? Chemicals, for processing documents, for sealing things that needed to stay hidden." Jun Hyuk stopped 10 feet away. "You said you were desperate, running from a marriage." "I was. But you came here, straight here, like you knew." "I knew enough." "Enough for what?" Amara pulled out the burner phone he'd given her, the one with 2 numbers saved, one labeled JH, one labeled Safe House. She didn't press either. Instead, she opened the keypad and dialed a third number from memory. Jun Hyuk's hand went to his weapon. Park raised his. 3 other men shifted, fingers on triggers. Amara put the phone to her ear, met Jun Hyuk's eyes directly. Someone answered. She could hear it. A voice, male, speaking a single word Jun Hyuk couldn't make out. "I'm here," Amara said into the phone. Pause. "Yes, I found it." Another pause. Longer. "I know." She hung up, lowered the phone. The warehouse held its breath. Jun Hyuk's voice was winter. "Who did you just call?" "Someone who's been waiting 15 years. "For what?" Amara's hands trembled. Just slightly, just enough to betray the calm in her voice. "For proof." Han Min-jun's people moved first. 2 black Mercedes sedans rolled to a stop outside the warehouse entrance. Engines purring. Expensive. Quiet. 4 men stepped out. Korean. 30s to 40s. Suits under tactical vests. Armed with handguns. Visible but not drawn. They positioned themselves near the vehicles. Waiting. Not attacking. Waiting. Then the third tale revealed itself. Not from vehicles. From shadows. 6 operatives materialized from positions that shouldn't have been able to hide them. Rooftops, alleys, behind industrial refuse. All dressed in matte black tactical gear with no insignia. No patches, no identification. Ex-military, definitely. But not Korean military. They moved with the eerie silence of people trained to enter buildings where everyone inside needed to die. Han Min-jun's men tensed immediately. Hands went to weapons, but nobody drew. Because the moment they did, this became a firefight. And firefights in Seoul's industrial district brought police. And police brought questions nobody here wanted to answer. Park's radio crackled low in his ear. "Sir, we have hostile contact outside. Multiple parties. Estimate 10 to 12 armed." Jun Hyuk didn't take his eyes off Amara. "Breakdown?" Han Min-jun's crew. 4 visible, plus the unknowns. 6 confirmed, possibly more in Overwatch. "Any movement toward the entrance?" "Negative. They're holding position. It's a standoff." Jun Hyuk's jaw worked. He was trapped inside his own warehouse, with a girl who'd just made a phone call to an unknown party. While outside, 3 forces circled like predators around a kill, each waiting for the others to make the first mistake. Nobody could move without starting a war that would end everyone. One of the tactical operatives stepped forward from the shadows. A woman, mid-40s, short-cropped blonde hair, cold blue eyes that had seen too many interrogation rooms. No rank visible, but every operative deferred to her with the automatic precision of people who knew chain of command meant survival. She walked directly toward Han Min-jun's lead man, a stocky Korean in his 40s with a scar running through his left eyebrow. "Stand down," she said. English, American accent, Texas maybe, or Virginia. The scarred man bristled. "This is private business, Korean business." "Not anymore." She held up a smartphone, showed him the screen. His face went from angry to pale in 2 seconds. He stepped back, gestured sharply for his men to lower their weapons. They obeyed, slowly, reluctantly. The American woman turned toward the warehouse entrance, raised her voice. Calm, projected, military command voice. "Kang Jun Hyuk, we know you're inside." Inside, Jun Hyuk's eyes narrowed. "We're not here for you," she continued. "We're not here for territorial disputes or underworld politics." Park moved closer to Jun Hyuk, weapon raised toward the door. "We're here for what was stolen in Lagos, 2009. International financial documentation. You know exactly what I'm talking about." Inside, Amara's breath caught audibly. Jun Hyuk looked at her. Her face had gone from controlled to terrified in the span of 1 sentence. "What did your father take?" he asked quietly. "I don't know." "Don't lie to me. Not now." "I'm not lying." Her voice cracked, raw. "I was 8 years old. I saw things I didn't understand. I heard words I couldn't translate. But I don't know what he took." "Then why are you here?" Amara's eyes filled with tears. Not from fear, from something worse. Realization. "Because he told me where to look." Amara moved toward the far wall. Jun Hyuk followed. Gun still holstered, but his hand never left it. Park and 2 others flanked them, covering angles. The wall looked like every other wall in this place, poured concrete, water-stained, cracked with age and neglect. But Amara ran her fingers along a seam near the floor. Her movements weren't searching. They were remembering. "My father used to bring me here sometimes," she said softly. "Late at night, after I was supposed to be asleep. He'd sit me in the office upstairs with coloring books and cartoons on an old TV. She found what she was looking for, a gap where the concrete met the floor, barely visible. But one night I followed him down here. I watched him through the door." She pressed. A section of the wall shifted inward with a mechanical click that echoed through the empty space. Behind it, a compartment, no bigger than a shoebox, lined with old plastic sheeting that had yellowed with time. Inside, a rusted tin, the kind that once held Danish butter cookies, sealed with packing tape that had turned brittle and brown. Amara reached for it. Her hands shook so badly she almost dropped it. Junhyuk stared at the tin like it was a live grenade with the pin already pulled. "Open it," he said. Quiet, dangerous. She did. Peeled back the tape. It cracked and flaked. Opened the lid. Inside, no cash, no diamonds, a strip of microfilm. Rolled tight, sealed in a plastic sleeve, and beneath it a folded piece of paper, yellowed, covered in handwritten notes, numbers, codes, dates, ledger fragment. Amara stared at it, then at Junhyuk. "This is what they want?" He didn't answer, because he was staring at the handwriting on the ledger, and he recognized it. Not her father's handwriting, someone else's, someone who'd been in his organization for over 20 years. Someone he trusted. Junhyuk's voice was laced with controlled fury that made the air feel colder. "Who told you to come to me?" Amara stepped back. "No one told me. You researched me, found my real name, found my territory, walked into traffic in front of my convoy." He moved closer, each step deliberate. "You used information you shouldn't have access to. Information that's buried, protected." "I figured it out." "No." He cut her off. "You didn't." Another step. Amara's back hit the wall. "You're intelligent, resourceful, desperate enough to take risks most people wouldn't survive." His voice dropped to barely above a whisper, more dangerous than shouting. "But you're not smart enough to find what you found. Not alone. I spent weeks. Weeks don't matter when the information doesn't exist in places you can reach." He was inches away now. "Someone gave you that information. Someone pointed you directly at me." "Who?" Amara's eyes filled with tears, not from fear of him, from fear of the truth she was starting to see. "I thought," her voice broke, "I thought I was using you to escape the marriage, to survive. And now? And now I think," she swallowed hard, "someone was using me to get to you." Junhyuk stared at her, reading her face like a document he needed to authenticate, searching for the lie. But all he saw was a girl realizing she'd been a puppet with invisible strings. His expression didn't soften, but something behind his eyes shifted. Recognition, because he understood that feeling. He'd been used before, 15 years ago, in Lagos. Park stepped closer, voice urgent but controlled. "Sir, we need to move. If those people outside decide to come in," "They won't," Junhyuk said. "How can you be sure?" "Because they don't know if we have the proof yet. The moment they move, they confirm they want it badly enough to start a war. They'll wait." "For how long?" "Until they don't have a choice." Outside, the American woman's voice carried again through the thin walls. "Kang Junhyuk, we're not your enemy, but we're also not leaving without verification. Send the girl out, with the item. We'll handle the rest." Junhyuk looked at the microfilm in his hand, then at Amara. "What did your father tell you?" he asked. "The night before he died. What did he say?" Amara's face crumpled. "I don't." "Yes, you do. That's why you're here. That's why you found me specifically." His voice was steel. "What did he say?" She closed her eyes. Tears spilled down her cheeks. When she spoke, her voice was the voice of a child remembering something she'd tried to forget. "He came to my room, late, after midnight. He smelled like whiskey and something bitter. He was crying." Park shifted uncomfortably. "He said, 'If anything happens to me, baby girl, you need to find someone. A Korean man. They call him the man who never smiles.'" Jun Hyuk went very still. He said, "Find him. Give him the thing I hid where we used to play. He'll know what to do. He's the only one who'll understand." The warehouse seemed to hold its breath. Then he kissed my forehead and left. The next day, he died on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. Car accident. They said his brakes failed. Jun Hyuk's jaw clenched. "They didn't fail," he said quietly. Amara looked up at him. "What? Your father didn't die in an accident." "Yes, he did. I saw the reports." "The reports were manufactured." Jun Hyuk turned away, paced 3 steps, turned back. "Your father was killed because he found out someone in my organization was stealing from the Lagos operation. Not just money, information, leverage." Amara's breathing quickened. "He was going to tell me. He called, set up a meeting." Jun Hyuk's voice was cold with old rage. "He died 12 hours before that meeting. Who killed him?" "I don't know, but I will." He held up the microfilm. "Because this is going to tell me. Before we find out what's on that microfilm, if you're not subscribed yet, do it now. Because what's about to be revealed doesn't just change the story, it changes everything we thought we knew about Jun Hyuk's empire, Amara's father, and who's really pulling the strings. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Part 3 is where loyalties shatter and nobody is safe. Don't miss it." A speaker crackled to life. Someone outside had patched through a call. A voice, smooth, older, Korean accent but English words. "Amara." She flinched like she'd been struck. "I know you can hear me." Jun Hyuk gestured to Park. Park moved to the window, scanning for the source. "Your father and I were partners, not employee and boss. Partners, equals." "He's lying," Amara whispered. "When your father found that microfilm, he didn't bring it to Jun Hyuk. He brought it to me first." Jun Hyuk's eyes narrowed. He wanted to know what to do with it. Because he knew that using it wrong would get him killed. Outside, Han Minjun paused. "Let the words sink in. I told him to hide it. Wait. Let things settle. But your father?" A soft laugh. Bitter. "Your father had a conscience. Wanted to do the right thing. Wanted to tell Jun Hyuk the truth." "So you killed him," Amara said, voice shaking. "I protected the operation. There's a difference. You murdered my father. I eliminated a liability." Han Minjun's voice hardened. "And now, 15 years later, here you are, delivering what your father should have given me in the first place." Jun Hyuk spoke loud enough to carry. "She's not giving you anything." "Then you're sentencing her to death, Jun Hyuk. Because the people outside aren't just hired guns. They're American intelligence contractors, private sector, and they'll level this building if they think the proof is inside." Park's face went pale. "You have 2 choices," Han Minjun continued. "Send her out with the microfilm. They verify it. Everyone walks away. Or keep her. And watch Seoul burn around you when they decide collateral damage is acceptable." Jun Hyuk looked at Amara. She looked back. 2 people trapped by choices made 15 years before they met. "What do we do?" she whispered. Jun Hyuk's expression was unreadable. Then he smiled. That same small, dangerous smile from the surveillance footage. "We make them think they've won." Jun Hyuk moved fast. "Park, how many smoke grenades do we have?" 4. "Gas masks?" 6. "1 for each of us." "Good. Here's what we do." He laid it out in 30 seconds. Park's eyes widened. "Sir, that's insane." "It'll work. It might get us all killed. Then we die with the truth instead of living with the lie." Jun Hyuk turned to Amara. "Can you run?" "Yes." "In the dark? In smoke? With people shooting?" She met his eyes. "I ran to you through worse." Something flickered across his face. Not quite respect, but close. "Good. Stay behind me. When I move, you move. Understand?" "Yes. If I go down, you won't." "If I go down," he repeated, voice harder, "you take the microfilm and run. Don't stop. Don't look back. There's a safe house in Itaewon. Address is in the phone I gave you. Get there. Wait for Park." "What about you?" "I'll be fine." "You're lying." He almost smiled again. "Yes." Park distributed gas masks, positioned men at key points. On Jun Hyuk's signal, They'd deploy smoke through the east and west vents simultaneously, create chaos, use the confusion to extract through the North Service tunnel. A maintenance access most people didn't know existed. Simple, dangerous, their only shot. Ready? Jun Hyuk asked. Park nodded. The other men checked weapons, secured masks. Amara gripped the tin with the microfilm inside like it was the last solid thing in a collapsing world. Jun Hyuk raised his hand. 3, 2, 1. The smoke grenades detonated with muffled pops. Thick white smoke billowed through the warehouse vents, industrial grade, the kind that turned visibility to 0 in seconds. Outside, immediate reaction, shouting. Han Min-jun's men drew weapons. The American operatives moved into tactical positions. Someone yelled, "They're running!" Footsteps, multiple directions. Inside, Jun Hyuk grabbed Amara's wrist, pulled her low, moved through the smoke like he could see through it. Muscle memory from a building he'd used for years. Park and 2 others flanked them. The other 3 created noise on the opposite side, making it sound like the escape was going east when they were actually going north. Boots on concrete, the service tunnel entrance, hidden behind a false panel that looked like structural support. Jun Hyuk hit the release. The panel swung open. Darkness beyond. "Go!" he hissed. Amara went. Into the tunnel. Narrow. Low ceiling. Smelled like rust and standing water. Park followed. Then the others. Jun Hyuk came last, pulling the panel shut behind them, muffling the chaos outside. They ran. The tunnel spat them out 3 blocks away in a drainage channel behind an abandoned factory. A black van waited, engine running, one of Jun Hyuk's drivers, a woman in her 30s with short hair and cold eyes. "Go!" Jun Hyuk ordered. They piled in. Doors slammed. The van peeled out before the doors were fully closed. For 5 minutes no one spoke. Just the sound of the engine, the hum of tires on asphalt, distant sirens that might or might not be related to them. Amara sat rigid against the van wall, still clutching the tin. Her hands had stopped shaking. Now she was just numb. Jun Hyuk sat across from her, staring out the tinted window at Seoul flashing past. Park monitored police frequencies on an encrypted radio. Finally, Amara spoke. "You knew." Jun Hyuk didn't look at her. "Knew what?" "About my father. About what happened to him." Her voice was hollow. "You knew it wasn't an accident." "I suspected." "For 15 years?" "Yes." "And you did nothing?" Now he looked at her. "I did everything. I tore apart the Lagos operation piece by piece, looking for who betrayed it. I exiled Han Min-jun. I restructured my entire organization. I spent a decade eliminating every possible leak. But you never found out who killed my father." "No." "Why not?" His jaw tightened. "Because the person who killed your father is someone I trust. Someone close. Someone who's been with me long enough that suspecting them feels like suspecting myself." Amara stared at him. "That's why the microfilm matters," he continued quietly. "It's not just proof of financial crimes. It's proof of who the traitor is. Then why haven't you looked at it? Because once I do, I can't unknow it. And once I know," he paused, "I'll have to kill someone I care about." The van turned onto a highway entrance ramp. Amara looked down at the tin in her hands. "My father gave me this knowing it would destroy someone." "Yes." "Knowing it might destroy me, too." "Yes." She opened the tin again, pulled out the microfilm, held it up to the passing streetlights. Even without magnification, she could see writing. Tiny, precise. "What's on it?" she asked. Jun Hyuk was quiet for a long moment. Then, names, dates, payments, but most importantly, a signature. Someone high up in my organization authorized payments to outside contractors. Payments that match the timeline of your father's death. So it's proof. It's a confession. Amara looked at him. "What happens when you find out who it is?" "I handle it." "How?" His eyes were empty. "The way I handle all betrayals." She understood. Death. Park lowered the radio. "Sir, we're clear. No pursuit. Police are investigating the warehouse, but they haven't connected it to us yet." Jun Hyuk nodded, then turned back to Amara. 3 months ago, Before the marriage arrangement, who contacted you first? Amara frowned. My uncle. He said there were debts. Before your uncle, someone must have contacted you. A lawyer, a consultant, someone official. She thought back. There was a law firm in Lagos. They sent a letter to my mother's address in Seoul, said my uncle had debts and there was a solution. What was the firm's name? Something corporate. I don't... Wait. She closed her eyes. Castellan International. Legal Services. Jun Hyuk pulled out his phone, typed rapidly, waited. A response came back in seconds. His expression darkened. What? Amar asked. Castellan International is a shell company, registered in Singapore, owned by a parent corporation that's owned by another parent corporation, 6 layers deep. What does that mean? It means someone with serious resources wanted you desperate, wanted you running. Running to you. Yes. Park leaned forward. Sir, if they set this up 3 months ago, then they've been planning this for longer than we thought. Jun Hyuk looked at Amara. You were never escaping an arranged marriage. You were being guided, every step. The marriage was designed to fail, to make you desperate enough to do exactly what you did. Amara's voice was barely a whisper. Step into traffic in front of your convoy. Yes. Use your real name. Yes. Make you stop. Jun Hyuk nodded slowly. Make you care, she finished. He didn't respond, but his silence was answer enough. Amara's voice cracked. I didn't know. I believe you. Then why does it feel like I'm the one who betrayed you? Jun Hyuk studied her face, really looked at her, not as a problem to solve or a threat to eliminate, as a person who'd been used the same way he had. Because you were a weapon, he said quietly, and weapons don't need to know they're being aimed. They just need to fire when triggered. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, the tough facade cracking. What happens now? Now we find out who pulled the trigger. And then? Then I decide whether saving you was the worst mistake I've ever made. It should have sounded cruel. Instead, it sounded honest. And somehow that was worse. The van merged into late-night traffic, anonymous among thousands of vehicles carrying people who had no idea a war was being fought in the shadows around them. Amara looked down at the microfilm again. You could leave me somewhere. Take this. Solve your problem without me. I could. Why don't you? Jun Hyuk was silent for a long moment. Outside, Seoul glittered. Beautiful, indifferent. Because whoever set this up expects me to either protect you or kill you. Either choice gives them information about who I am. He turned to face her fully. So I'm going to do neither. What does that mean? It means I'm keeping you close, but not as protection. His eyes were cold, calculating. As bait. Amara should have been afraid. Instead, she felt something else. Relief, because bait meant she was still useful, and useful meant alive. What do you need me to do, she asked. Exactly what you've been doing, but this time, knowingly. You want me to keep playing my part? Yes. Whoever's watching expects you to either run or stay hidden. Instead, you're going to be visible, vulnerable. He leaned back. And when they make their move, we'll be ready. Park looked uncomfortable. Sir, using her as bait isn't a request for your opinion, Park. Park fell silent, but his expression said everything his mouth couldn't. This was dangerous. This was the kind of plan that got people killed. Jun Hyuk knew it. Amara knew it. They did it anyway, because the alternative was living in fear, and neither of them knew how to do that. The van pulled into an underground garage beneath a nondescript apartment building in Gangnam. Expensive district. The kind where no one asked questions because everyone had secrets worth protecting. They took a private elevator to the 16th floor. The safe house was modern, minimalist. Floor-to-ceiling windows with bulletproof glass overlooking the city. Clean, sterile, temporary. You'll stay here, Jun Hyuk said. There are clothes in the bedroom, food in the kitchen, everything you need. For how long? Until I know who to trust. Amara walked to the window, looked out at Seoul spreading below like a circuit board. Lights and darkness in equal measure. What about you? She asked. I have work to do. The microfilm. Yes. She turned to face him. You're going to look at it. I don't have a choice. And when you find out who it is, Jun Hyuk's expression was carved from stone. Then I handle it. Will you tell me? Why would I? Because my father died for that information. I deserve to know. He considered that, then nodded. Once. When it's done, I'll tell you. It wasn't a promise, but it was something. He moved toward the door. Jun Hyuk, Amara said. He stopped, didn't turn. Thank you for not leaving me in that warehouse. He was quiet for a moment. Don't thank me yet. This isn't over. Then he left. The door closed with a soft click. The lock engaged automatically. Amara stood alone in the expensive silence. She walked to the couch, sat down heavily, pulled out the burner phone, stared at the two saved numbers, JH Safe House, then opened the recent calls, the third number she'd dialed from the warehouse, the one she'd called from memory. She stared at it. Her thumb hovered over the delete button, but she didn't press it. Instead, she powered off the phone, set it on the table, and for the first time in 3 months, she let herself cry. Not from fear, from exhaustion. From realizing she'd been a puppet for so long, she'd forgotten what it felt like to pull her own strings. Outside, Seoul pulsed. Inside, Amara broke. Quietly, alone, the way her father had broken the night before he died. Jun Hyuk sat in darkness. The only light came from a single desk lamp and the glow of Seoul through his windows. On his desk, the microfilm, the ledger fragment, a magnifying glass, and a bottle of whiskey he hadn't opened yet. Park stood near the door, waiting. Leave, Jun Hyuk said. Sir, I need to do this alone. What if what you find? Then I'll handle it alone. His voice left no room for argument. Go home, Park. Be with your family. This doesn't concern you. Everything that concerns you concerns me. Jun Hyuk looked up, something almost like warmth in his eyes. Almost. That's why I need you to leave. Because if what I find is what I think I'm going to find, he paused. I'll need someone I trust who isn't compromised. Someone who can run the organization if I can't. Park's face went pale. You think it's that bad? I think my father once told me, the deepest cuts come from the closest blades. Sir, go. Park hesitated, then bowed slightly, and left. The door closed. Jun Hyuk was alone. He picked up the magnifying glass, held the microfilm up to the light, started reading. Names, dates, transactions. Lagos 2009 Operation Ledger. But not the official one. This was the shadow ledger, the one that tracked money that never appeared on any books. Payments to Nigerian customs officials, $47,000 USD Port Authority Supervisor, $23,000 USD Police Commissioner's Office, $89,000 USD Documentation Specialist, forgery, $34,000 USD Standard Operation Costs. Expected. Then, Contract Termination Specialist, $150,000 USD Vehicle Accident Specialist, $75,000 USD Evidence Disposal, $50,000 USD. Jun Hyuk's jaw clenched. Those weren't operation costs. Those were assassination budgets. The dates matched. May 2010, 2 weeks before Amara's father died. Authorization signature at the bottom of the page. A single initial in Korean calligraphy. Elegant, distinctive. Jun Hyuk recognized it immediately. His hand tightened on the magnifying glass hard enough that his knuckles went white. No, not him. Anyone but him. He flipped to the next entry on the microfilm. More payments. Seoul relocation consultant, $25,000 USD identity documentation. Minor, $15,000 USD school enrollment facilitation. $8,000 USD guardian compensation, ongoing, $3,000 USD monthly. The dates, June 2010, 1 month after Amara's father died. These were payments to relocate a child from Lagos to Seoul, to enroll her in school, to pay a guardian to watch her. Amara, someone had paid to bring her to Seoul after her father's death, had been paying to keep her here for 15 years. Authorization signature. Same initial, same person. Jun Hyuk set down the magnifying glass, opened the whiskey, poured 3 fingers, drank it in 1 swallow, poured another. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. The same one from before. He answered. Put it on speaker. You found it, the American voice said, not a question. Yes. And? And now I know who killed her father. Good. That's the first step. First step to what? To understanding you're not the target, Junhyuk. You never were. Then who is? The person whose signature is on those payments. They've been running a parallel operation inside your organization for 20 years, using your resources, your reputation, your power. A pause. They've been building an empire inside your empire. Junhyuk's voice was ice. Who are you? Someone who was also betrayed by them. Someone who wants them gone just as badly as you do. Why should I believe you? Because in approximately 18 hours, they're going to make their move. They know you have the microfilm. They know you've seen the signature, and they know you'll come for them. So they're going to kill you first and frame it as retaliation from Han Min-jun and take over your entire organization before your body's cold. Junhyuk stood, walked to the window. Unless, he asked, unless you move first, but carefully, because they have people loyal to them throughout your structure, people who'll choose them over you if forced. How do you know this? Because I used to work for them before I realized what they were building. The voice softened slightly. Before they tried to kill me too. What do you want? I want you to expose them, publicly, in front of your entire organization. Force them to show their hand. That's suicide. No. Suicide is doing nothing and waiting for them to kill you in your sleep. Junhyuk was quiet, processing, calculating. And the girl, he asked, she's leverage. They kept her alive and nearby because they knew eventually she'd be useful, either as a weapon against you or as insurance if you got too close to the truth. She doesn't know any of this. She doesn't need to. She just needs to be visible, vulnerable, bait. Junhyuk's eyes narrowed. I already figured that out. Good. Then you're smarter than they think you are. Who are you? Junhyuk asked again. You'll find out. When this is over. If we both survive. The line went dead. Junhyuk stood at the window, staring out at Seoul, at his empire, built over 14 years of blood and fear and calculated violence, and somewhere inside it, a traitor. Someone he trusted. Someone he'd worked beside for decades. Someone whose signature he'd recognize anywhere. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through his contacts, found the name that matched the initial, stared at it for a long time, then made a decision. Amara woke to sunlight streaming through bulletproof glass. For a moment she forgot where she was, then remembered. Safe house, Gangnam, bait. She sat up. Her body ached, running, fear, exhaustion catching up. Her phone, the burner, sat on the table where she'd left it. She turned it on. 3 missed calls, all from the same unknown number. The one she'd called from the warehouse. No voicemails, just calls. Someone checking if she was still alive, or checking if she was still useful. She deleted the call log, powered off the phone again, walked to the kitchen, found coffee, bread, eggs, made breakfast like she was a person with a normal life, like she wasn't bait in a trap she didn't fully understand. Like her father hadn't been murdered 15 years ago for finding proof she was now carrying. The food tasted like cardboard. She ate it anyway. Survival meant eating even when you weren't hungry. Her father had taught her that, along with trust no one completely, always have an exit, and never forget where you came from. She'd broken all 3 rules, trusted Junhyuk enough to follow him into a warehouse, had no exit from this apartment, and had spent 15 years trying to forget Lagos. Her father would be disappointed. Or maybe he'd planned this. Maybe this was always the endgame. Get her to Seoul, keep her close to Junhyuk's world, wait for the right moment, then activate her, like a bomb with a 15-year timer. The thought made her sick. She set down the half-eaten toast, walked to the window, looked out at Seoul. Somewhere down there, Junhyuk was reading her father's final message, learning who'd killed him, planning revenge, and she was here, safe, useless, bait. She hated it, but she understood it, because the only thing worse than being bait was being forgotten. And she'd been forgotten for 15 years. Not anymore. Junhyuk called a meeting, not at headquarters, not at any of the usual locations. A restaurant, high-end, private room, the kind where politicians and CEOs made deals that never appeared in minutes. He invited 6 people, his inner circle, the ones who'd been with him longest. Park arrived first, nervous. He'd seen that look on Jun Hyuk's face before. It meant someone was about to die. Kim, the financial officer, came next, mid-40s, meticulous, the man who knew where every dollar went. Then Choi, head of security, the oldest, the one who'd served Jun Hyuk's father before serving Jun Hyuk. Lee, operations coordinator, 30s, efficient, cold. Yoon, legal counsel, the fixer, the one who made problems disappear on paper. And finally, Kang Min-seo, Jun Hyuk's uncle, 62 years old, silver hair, distinguished, the man who'd helped Jun Hyuk take over the organization when his father died. The man whose calligraphy signature was elegant and distinctive. The man whose initial was on the Lagos ledger. They sat around the table. Expensive food none of them touched. Waiting. Jun Hyuk stood at the head of the table, hands in his pockets, face unreadable. 15 years ago, he began, our Lagos operation was compromised. Someone stole money. Someone leaked information. Someone got people killed. The room was silent. I've spent 14 years trying to find out who. I exiled suspects, restructured, eliminated leaks. He paused. But I never found the source. Choi shifted uncomfortably. Until now. Jun Hyuk pulled out the microfilm, set it on the table. A ledger, shadow accounts, payments that never appeared in our official books. Kim leaned forward, squinting. Where did you get this? From someone who died protecting it. Who? A Nigerian logistics coordinator. Name Samuel Okafor. He worked the Lagos operation. He found this. He was going to bring it to me. Jun Hyuk's voice was winter. He died in a car accident before he could. Min-seo's face remained perfectly calm. Too calm. Car accidents happen, Min-seo said quietly, not to people with evidence of treason. The word hung in the air like a blade. Park's hand moved subtly toward his weapon. Someone in this room authorized payments to have a Samuel Okafor killed. Jun Hyuk continued. Then authorized payments to relocate his daughter to Seoul, to keep her close, to watch her. Amara. Everyone understood now. The girl, Lee said. The one from the warehouse. Yes. She's Okafor's daughter? Yes. Kim's eyes widened. You've been protecting the daughter of the man who stole from us? I've been protecting the daughter of the man who found proof of who actually stole from us. Jun Hyuk's gaze swept the table. And that person is sitting at this table right now. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Then Min-seo spoke. May I see the ledger? Jun Hyuk slid it across the table. Min-seo picked up the magnifying glass, studied the microfilm for a long moment, then set it down gently. Your father would be proud, Min-seo said. You've become even more thorough than he was. Don't what? Don't pretend. Jun Hyuk's voice dropped to barely above a whisper, more dangerous than shouting. I know your signature, Uncle. I've seen it on documents for 20 years. Min-seo leaned back in his chair, smiled, not warmly, the smile of a man who'd been caught but didn't care. When did you know? Min-seo asked. Last night. And yet you called this meeting instead of just having me killed. Why? Because I need to understand why. Min-seo poured himself tea, calm, unhurried. Your father built this organization on fear and violence, effective but limited. He sipped. I built a network inside his network, relationships, leverage, information. I made us indispensable to people with real power, politicians, corporations, intelligence services. You made yourself indispensable. Same thing. By killing anyone who found out. By eliminating risks. Min-seo set down his cup. Samuel Okafor was a risk. He found proof of accounts your father never knew about. Accounts I used to build relationships outside the traditional underworld. So you had him killed? Yes. The casual admission made Park's jaw clench. And his daughter? Jun Hyuk asked. Insurance. I had her brought to Seoul, enrolled in school, funded through shell companies, watched from a distance. Why? Because I knew eventually she'd be useful, either as leverage against anyone who knew her father, or, Min-seo smiled again, as a trigger. Jun Hyuk's expression didn't change, but his hands in his pockets balled into fists. You arranged her marriage to Han Min-jun. I suggested it to her uncle, who owed me money. The marriage was designed to fail, of course, to make her desperate enough to run. Run to me. Yes. Why? Min-seo stood slowly. Because I needed to know if you changed. If you were still the cold, calculating leader your father raised, or if you'd become soft. He gestured at the microfilm. If you'd stayed cold, you would have killed her the moment she became a complication, proving you were still the leader I needed you to be. And if I protected her, then you'd proven you had a weakness, something that could be exploited, controlled. Min-seo's eyes glittered. Either way, I won. Either I confirmed you were the right leader, or I confirmed you needed to be replaced. The room went cold. Choi's hand moved to his weapon. So did Lee's, but they didn't draw, because they didn't know who to point them at. Park stood. Sir? Jun Hyuk raised a hand. Park stopped. You've been planning this for 15 years, Jun Hyuk said. Longer, since before your father died. Did you kill him too? Min-seo's smile faded. No, your father's heart gave out on its own, but I won't pretend I wasn't prepared for it. You helped me take over. I positioned you to take over. There's a difference. So I could be your puppet. So you could be the face while I built the future. Min-seo's voice hardened. This organization survives because I made connections you can't even imagine. I have leverage on prosecutors, judges, police commissioners, national assemblymen, corporate CEOs, all using my resources. Our resources. No, Jun Hyuk's voice was steel. Mine. Built by my father, maintained by me. You stole access. That's not the same as ownership. Min-seo's expression darkened. I made you, he said quietly. You manipulated me. I protected you, guided you, kept you alive through challenges that would have destroyed you. By killing people who got too close to your secrets. By eliminating threats. Jun Hyuk took a step forward. The air in the room tightened. Where does Amara fit now, he asked. She doesn't. She served her purpose. Which was? To prove you're compromised, to show the organization that you're making decisions based on emotion instead of strategy. Min-seo gestured to the others. They've seen it. You protected a stranger, risked exposure, started conflicts with Han Min-jun and American intelligence contractors. All for a girl you met a week ago. She had proof of your treason. She had proof of my parallel operation. Not treason, evolution. You killed her father. I eliminated a liability. He would have told you about the accounts. You would have shut them down. Decades of work destroyed because one man got curious. Jun Hyuk's jaw worked. And now, he asked, now you have a choice. Min-seo looked around the table. These people are loyal, but loyalty is flexible, especially when the alternative is death. Several sets of eyes shifted, calculating, choosing. You can try to have me killed, Min-seo continued, but I have insurance, files, evidence, buried so deep that if I die, they surface automatically. Prosecutors will have everything they need to dismantle this entire organization. You'd destroy everything? I'd destroy your version of everything. My version would survive. Park's hand was on his gun now. Sir, give the word. No, Jun Hyuk said quietly. Everyone froze. No? Min-seo raised an eyebrow. Not here. Not like this. Jun Hyuk stepped back. You wanted to know if I'd changed, if I'd become soft. And? You're about to find out. Jun Hyuk turned and walked to the door. Opened it. Looked back. You have 48 hours to disappear. Take your accounts. Take your contacts. Leave Seoul. If I ever see you again, I'll kill you myself. Min-seo's eyes narrowed. You're letting me go? I'm choosing the organization over revenge. That's what a real leader does. Jun Hyuk's voice was carved from ice. But if you stay, if you touch Amara, if you make one move against me or mine, your insurance files won't matter because I'll make sure you suffer long enough to regret every decision that led to that moment. Silence. Min Seo studied his nephew's face, searching for weakness, finding none. 48 hours, Min Seo finally said. 48 hours. Jun Hyuk left. Park followed. The door closed. Inside, Min Seo sat back down, poured more tea, looked at the remaining 4 people at the table. Well, he said calmly, that went better than expected. In the car, Park was shaking. Sir, you let him go. Yes. He killed Amara's father. He manipulated everything. He admitted it. Yes. Then why? Because killing him solves nothing. Jun Hyuk stared out the window. He has insurance, files that would destroy us. If he dies, they surface. Prosecutors come. Everything ends. So we just let him win? He didn't win. Jun Hyuk's voice was quiet, dangerous. He thinks he did. That's different. Park looked at him. I don't understand. Min Seo's insurance is digital. Files, evidence, automated release if he dies. Yes. So I didn't kill him. I gave him 48 hours to run. And? Jun Hyuk finally looked at Park. That small, dangerous smile. And in 48 hours, he'll realize I'm not chasing him. I'm erasing him. His accounts, his contacts, his leverage, everything he built inside my organization. Park's eyes widened. And when he comes back to stop me, because he will come back, it won't be murder. It'll be self-defense. His insurance files mean nothing if he's the one who attacks me first. Can't trigger a dead man's switch if you're alive and aggressive. Park sat back, processing, understanding. You're forcing him to make the first move. Yes. What if he doesn't? What if he just disappears? Then he disappears, and I dismantle everything he built anyway. Either way, he loses. Park was quiet for a moment, then, and the girl? Jun Hyuk's expression hardened. She stays visible, protected, but visible. As bait. As proof that I keep my word. I said I'd protect her. Min Seo expects me to kill her to prove I'm not compromised. When I don't, Jun Hyuk paused. He'll realize he miscalculated. That's dangerous. Everything is dangerous now. The car moved through Seoul traffic. Jun Hyuk pulled out his phone, sent a text to an unknown number. 3 words. He took the bait. A response came back immediately. Good. Now we wait. Park didn't ask who he was texting. Some things were better not known. Amara was staring out the window when her burner phone buzzed. She'd turned it on an hour ago, against her better judgment. The message was from JH. Stay inside, lock the door. Don't answer for anyone except me or Park. This isn't over. Her stomach dropped. She texted back. What happened? 3 minutes passed. Then, I found who killed your father. Her hands shook. Who? Another pause. Someone close. I'm handling it. Tell me who. Not yet. Too dangerous. I deserve to know. The response took longer this time. You do, and you will. When it's safe. When will that be? 48 hours, maybe less. Depends on what he does next. He. So it was a man. Someone Jun Hyuk knew. Trusted. Someone who'd been close enough to authorize murders and relocate children and manipulate lives across 15 years and 2 continents. Amara set down the phone, walked to the kitchen, opened drawers until she found what she was looking for. A knife. Not large, paring knife, meant for vegetables, but sharp. She took it back to the living room, set it on the coffee table, within reach. Because Jun Hyuk's text said, stay inside, lock the door, don't answer for anyone, which meant he expected someone to try. 40 hours later, Min Seo hadn't run. That's what Park reported. He's still in Seoul, staying at his estate, meeting with people. Jun Hyuk sat in his office, fingers steepled, staring at nothing. Who's he meeting with? 3 of our mid-level operators, 2 external contacts we've identified as intelligence brokers, and, Park hesitated, Han Min-jun. Jun Hyuk's eyes sharpened. When? This morning. Private meeting. 1 hour. What did they discuss? We don't know. The room was swept for bugs. Jun Hyuk stood, walked to the window, soul stretched below. His city, his empire, built on his father's foundation, corrupted by his uncle's ambition. He's making his move, Jun Hyuk said quietly. What move? He's not running. He's consolidating, calling in favors, building a coalition. To do what? To take over. Jun Hyuk turned from the window. I gave him 48 hours to leave. He's using them to prepare a coup. Park's face went pale. Then we need to move first. No, we wait. Sir, if we move first, we're the aggressors. His insurance files trigger. We lose everything. Jun Hyuk's voice was ice-cold calculation. But if he moves first, if he attacks, if he tries to kill me or take control by force, then it's self-defense. His files become irrelevant. You're betting he'll attack. I'm guaranteeing it. How? Jun Hyuk pulled out his phone, opened a message thread, showed Park. The message read, Min Seo's parallel accounts, all external contacts, complete list. Below it, a document, names, numbers, connections, everything Min Seo had built, everything he thought was hidden. Where did you get this? Park breathed. From the person who's been helping us, the American voice on the phone. Who are they? Someone who worked for Min Seo before they realized what he was building, before he tried to have them killed too. Jun Hyuk took back the phone. They've been documenting everything for years, waiting for the right moment. And now? Now I send this to Min Seo. Let him know I have everything, every contact, every account, every piece of leverage he's built. He'll panic. He'll attack. Jun Hyuk's smile was cold. And when he does, it's over. Park was quiet for a moment. And if he doesn't attack, if he still runs, then I dismantle everything anyway. And he spends the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, knowing I took everything he built. Jun Hyuk sent the message to Min Seo's private number. Just the document. No words. No threats. The document was threat enough. Min Seo read the message 3 times. Each time his expression grew colder. He was in his study. Mahogany, books, expensive, old money aesthetics covering new money violence. He set down the phone, poured whiskey, drank. Across from him sat 3 men, hard, loyal to money more than principles. He knows, Min Seo said. Everything? One asked. Everything. Then we're compromised. No, we're accelerated. Min Seo set down his glass. He thinks having this information gives him power. He's wrong. How? Because information only matters if you survive long enough to use it. Min Seo stood. We move tonight. Not in 48 hours. Tonight. The girl? She's at the Gangnam safe house. 16th floor. Minimal security because he's arrogant enough to think his reputation is protection. You want her dead? Min Seo considered. No, I want her taken. Alive. She's leveraged now. If Jun Hyuk has my files, I need something he values. You think he values her? I think he's protected her when he should have killed her. That's enough. One of the men leaned forward. And Kang Jun Hyuk himself? Min Seo's expression was carved from stone. Make it look like Han Min Jun's retaliation. We already have Han primed. He wants the microfilm. We tell him Jun Hyuk has it. Han moves. We support from the shadows. And when Jun Hyuk's dead? Then I take control. The organization needs leadership. I'm the logical choice. The elder. The one who built half the relationships keeping us alive. Min Seo smiled. And I'll have the girl. Insurance against anyone who questions my claim. The men nodded. Plans were made. Calls were placed. Pieces moved. Amara felt it before she heard it. A change in the air. The kind of tension that meant violence was coming. She learned to recognize it in Lagos before her father died. When men with guns came to the house looking for money or answers, she grabbed the paring knife from the coffee table, moved away from the windows, killed the lights, waited in darkness. Her phone buzzed. Message from JH. Don't open the door. I'm sending Park. 10 minutes. Her heart hammered. 10 minutes. She could survive 10 minutes. Then she heard it. The elevator. Not the normal ding. Emergency override. Someone with access codes. Footsteps in the hallway. Multiple people. Professional. Quiet. They stopped outside her door. Silence. Then, a voice. Korean. Male. Calm. Miss Okafor, open the door. We're here to protect you. Kang Jun-hyuk sent us. Lie. She knew it was a lie. Jun-hyuk would have called, would have sent Park with warning. She stayed silent. Miss Okafor, we know you're inside. We're not here to hurt you, but we need you to come with us. There's been a security breach. Silence. If you don't open the door, we'll be forced to breach it. Please don't make this difficult. Amara looked at the paring knife in her hand, useless against trained men. She looked at the window. Bulletproof glass. 16th floor. No escape that direction. She looked at her phone. Texted JH. They're here at the door. How long? Response immediate. 8 minutes. Hi, don't engage. Where? Bedroom, closet, lock yourself in, barricade. She ran, quiet as possible, into the bedroom, into the closet, pulled the door shut, locked it from inside. Flimsy lock, meant for privacy, not security, but something. Shoved a dresser against the door from inside, wedged herself into the corner, knife in hand, phone on silent, breathing controlled, waiting. Outside in the hallway, patience ran out. Breach it. The sound of the lock being overridden. Electronic beep. The apartment door opened. Footsteps inside. Clear the rooms. Multiple sets of boots. Professional clearing pattern. Kitchen clear. Living room clear. Bathroom clear. Bedroom occupied. Closet door locked. Pause, then. Miss Okafor. Last chance. Open the door. Amara said nothing. Your choice. The closet door handle jiggled. Then the lock shattered. The door pushed inward. Hit the dresser. Stopped. Barricaded, move it! Sounds of furniture being shoved. The dresser scraped across the floor. The closet door opened. 3 men. Tactical gear. Weapons drawn but not aimed. Yet. The lead man, 30s, cold eyes, looked at her. At the paring knife in her hand. Put down the knife, Miss Okafor. She didn't move. We're not here to hurt you. Just to relocate you. Protective custody. Liar. His expression didn't change. Put down the knife. Where's Jun-hyuk? Safe. He sent us. Prove it. We don't have time for this. He stepped forward. Amara slashed. The knife caught his arm. Shallow, but enough to draw blood. He stepped back, looked at his arm, then at her. Stupid. He nodded to the others. They moved in. Amara fought, kicked, scratched, bit. The knife was taken. Her arms were pinned. A hood went over her head. Darkness. Zip ties on her wrists. She was lifted, carried. She screamed. A hand covered her mouth through the hood. Quiet, or we sedate you. She kept screaming. A needle. Sharp pain in her arm. Cold spreading through her veins. The world tilted, faded, gone. Park burst out of the elevator, weapon drawn, 3 men with him. The safe house door was open. He cleared the apartment. Empty. Signs of struggle in the bedroom closet. Blood on the floor. Not much. Defensive wound. The dresser moved. She'd fought. Lost. Park pulled out his phone. Called Jun-hyuk. Sir, they took her. Silence on the other end. Then, how long? Can't be more than 10 minutes. We might be able to track. Don't. Let them take her. Park froze. Sir? They're taking her to Min Seo, which means he's about to make his move. This is what we wanted. You're using her as bait. Yes. She could die. So could we all. At least this way, we control the battlefield. Park wanted to argue. Couldn't. What are your orders? Follow at a distance. Don't engage. Let them think they got away clean. I want to know where they take her. And then? Then we end this. Amara woke to concrete and cold. Her head pounded. Sedative hangover. She was sitting, hands zip-tied behind her to a chair, ankles tied to chair legs. Professional restraint. The hood was gone. The room was windowless. Basement, maybe. Concrete walls, single bulb overhead. Interrogation space. Or execution space. She'd seen enough movies to know the difference was timing. A door opened. Min Seo entered. Alone. He looked at her the way people looked at broken tools, assessing whether repair was worth the effort. Miss Okafor, he said, perfect English, soul-polished accent. I apologize for the rough treatment. My men can be overzealous. Amara said nothing. Your father and I worked together once. Did you know that? Silence. He was good at his job, efficient, trustworthy, until he wasn't. You killed him. I eliminated a threat to my operation. There's a difference. Not to me, Mincio smiled. No, I suppose not. He pulled over a chair, sat facing her. Let me be clear about your situation. You are leverage, nothing more, nothing less. Jun Hyuk values you for reasons I don't fully understand, which makes you useful to me. He'll come for me. I'm counting on it. Mincio leaned forward. When he does, I'll kill him. Take control of the organization, and you'll be insurance against anyone who questions my authority. And then you'll kill me. Eventually, but not immediately. You've proven surprisingly resilient. That has value. I'll never work for you. I don't need you to work. I need you to exist, preferably alive, but that's negotiable. He stood, walked to the door, looked back. Your father made the mistake of thinking he could change things, stand up to power, do the right thing. Mincio's expression was carved from ice. You're about to learn why that was a mistake. He left. The door locked. Amara was alone. She tested the zip ties. Tight, professional, but not impossible. She'd seen her father escape zip ties once. Lagos, when police had arrested him on false charges. Tensile strength had limits. She took a breath, started working. Jun Hyuk stood in his office. Park beside him, on the monitor tracking data. The vehicle that took Amara, followed at distance by Park's team. It stopped at an industrial warehouse in Seobingo. Different warehouse from before. Older, more isolated. That's Minseo's, Park said. Old holding facility. Before we consolidated operations? How many men? Estimate 10 to 12, plus Minseo himself. Han Minjun? No confirmation. But he was at the earlier meeting. Assume he's coordinating from elsewhere. Jun Hyuk nodded, pulled out his phone, called the unknown American number. It's happening, he said when they answered. I know, I've been monitoring. Minseo's moving assets, calling in favors. He's preparing for transition of power. He has Amara. I know that too. I'm going to get her. That's what he wants. You walk in, he kills you, takes over. Simple. Then I don't walk in. I make him come out. How? Jun Hyuk smiled, that dangerous smile. I'm about to broadcast his insurance files to every major player in Seoul's underworld, every corrupt official, every person he has leverage on. Silence. That's suicide. They'll all move against you. No, they'll all move against him, because once his leverage is public, it's worthless. Everyone he's been blackmailing will want him dead before he can use it against them. You're burning your own city. I'm burning his city. Mine will survive. Another pause. You're crazier than I thought. No, I'm just willing to lose everything to make sure he loses more. What about the girl? She's resilient. She'll survive until I get there. And if she doesn't? Jun Hyuk's expression hardened. Then Minseo dies slower. He hung up, turned to Park. Send the files, all of them. Every contact we have. Underworld, legitimate, political, corporate, everyone. Sir, that's... Do it. Park hesitated, then obeyed. He pressed send. The files went out, thousands of pages, names, accounts, leverage, blackmail material, proof of corruption spanning 20 years. Seoul's shadow economy exposed. Within 10 minutes, phones started ringing, messages flooded in. Panic, rage, betrayal. Minseo's carefully built empire of fear started crumbling, because fear only works when it's secret. Once it's public, it becomes rage, and rage burns everything. Minseo's phone exploded with messages. He read 3 before understanding. His files, his leverage, public. His face went from calm to fury in seconds. He called Jun Hyuk. Jun Hyuk answered. You destroyed me, Minseo hissed. No, I freed everyone you were controlling. There's a difference. I'll kill the girl. Then you lose your only leverage. I'll kill her and then kill you. You can try. Jun Hyuk's voice was ice. But you're about to have bigger problems. Every person you blackmailed just got those files. How long do you think before they come for you? Silence. Minseo looked out the warehouse window. Already he could see movement. Vehicles, multiple groups, converging. You turned them against me. You turned them against yourself. I just gave them permission. I still have men loyal to me. Do you? Or do you have men loyal to money? And once your accounts are frozen, which they will be within the hour, how loyal do you think they'll stay? Minseo's jaw clenched. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You just haven't accepted it yet. I have the girl. And I have an army of people who want you dead. Let her go. Surrender. I'll make it quick. Never. Then die slowly. Your choice. Jun Hyuk hung up. The zip ties snapped. Amara's wrists were raw, bleeding but free. She'd worked them for 30 minutes, stretching, pulling, using her body weight. Tensile strength had limits. She freed her ankles, stood, dizzy from the drugs, from fear, from exhaustion, but standing. She moved to the door, locked from outside. She looked around the room. Concrete, no windows, no tools, just the chair, the light bulb, and her. She grabbed the chair, swung it at the door. Again, again. The door dented but held. Footsteps outside. Someone heard. The lock turned. The door opened. A guard, armed. He saw her with the chair, raised his weapon. She swung anyway. Hit him across the face. He stumbled. She ran past him, into a hallway. Left or right? She chose left. Ran. Behind her, shouting. More footsteps. She found stairs. Up. Toward air. Toward exit. Toward survival. She burst through a door, found herself in the main warehouse. Empty except for crates and shadows. And men with guns. 5 of them. All turning toward her. She stopped. Nowhere to run. One of them spoke into a radio. We have her. Main floor. Then gunfire. Not at her. From outside. The warehouse windows shattered. Men dove for cover. Chaos. Jun Hyuk's voice over a loudspeaker from outside. Amara! Down! She dropped. More gunfire. Covering fire. From multiple positions. Park's team. Creating an exit. Amara crawled behind a crate. Stayed low. The firefight lasted 90 seconds. Felt like hours. Then silence. Broken only by ringing ears and distant sirens. Amara! Park's voice. She looked up. He was at a side entrance. Waving her over. She ran. Low. Fast. Reached him. He pulled her outside. Into an alley. Where Jun Hyuk waited. Alive. Unhurt. He looked at her. Really looked. Checking for injuries. You okay? No, but I'm alive. Good enough. He handed her into a car. Slid in beside her. The car moved. Fast. Away from the warehouse. Away from the gunfire. Away from Minseo. Minseo was found dead in a hotel room in Busan. Official report, suicide. Unofficial truth, 12 different groups wanted him dead. Someone got there first. Jun Hyuk didn't ask who, didn't care. The organization restructured, loyalists were rewarded, traitors were removed. Seoul's underworld stabilized. The microfilm was destroyed. The ledger fragment was archived. Proof existed, but it would never be used. Because sometimes justice is less important than peace. Amara sat in Jun Hyuk's office, healed, rested, safe. What now, she asked. Jun Hyuk looked at her. You have choices. I can set you up. New identity, money, anywhere in the world. Or you stay, work for me. You've proven you can survive things that would break most people. Doing what? Whatever you want. You've earned the right to choose. Amara was quiet. Then, my father wanted me to give you the proof, to expose the traitor. You did. He also told me you were the man who never smiles. I'm not that man anymore. She smiled slightly. I noticed. Jun Hyuk stood, walked to the window, soul stretched below. I spent 14 years being who my father needed me to be. Cold, controlled, empty. And now I don't know. He looked back at her. You reminded me what it feels like to make choices that don't make strategic sense. Is that good or bad? I'm still deciding. Amara stood, joined him at the window. Two people who'd survived betrayals neither of them asked for. I'll stay, she said. For now. Why? Because leaving means running, and I'm tired of running. Jun-hyuk nodded. Outside Seoul glittered, indifferent to the wars fought in its shadows, indifferent to the lives changed, indifferent to everything except survival. And survival, they'd learned, was sometimes enough. Jun-hyuk's phone buzzed. The American number. He answered. It's done, the voice said. Who are you? Jun-hyuk asked. Final time. Someone who worked for Min Seo, before I realized what he was building. That's not an answer. My name is Sarah Chen, former CIA, recruited by Min Seo to build his intelligence network, then targeted for elimination when I found out he was planning to expand beyond Korea. Jun-hyuk processed that. You've been helping me to get revenge. I've been helping you to stop him from doing to others what he did to me, to Amara's father, to dozens of people across 2 decades. Why not just kill him yourself? Because I needed someone with resources, someone with motive, someone who'd survived the backlash. A pause. I needed you. So I was your weapon. No, you were my partner. I just didn't tell you. Jun-hyuk almost smiled. Will I hear from you again? Only if you need me, or if someone else starts building what Min Seo built. And Amara? She's your responsibility now. Keep her safe. She's been through enough. I will. Good. Sarah Chen's voice softened slightly. And Jun-hyuk? Yes? You smiled. That matters more than you think. The line went dead. Jun-hyuk set down the phone, looked at Amara, who'd been listening. Partners we didn't know we had, she said. Better than enemies we didn't see coming. Is it over? Jun-hyuk considered. For now. And later. Later we survive. Same as always. She nodded. They stood at the window, watching Seoul, the city that never stopped hiding things, the city they learned to navigate, together. He thought keeping her close would protect her. He didn't realize keeping her close would change him. Because some weapons, once fired, can never be unfired. Some smiles once given can never be taken back. And some wars once won leave scars that never fully heal. They survived. But survival always costs something. And in Seoul's shadows, the bill always comes due. Eventually. So that's part 2. Betrayals, revelations, a traitor exposed, a war won. But here's the question. What happens next? Because Min Seo's empire didn't disappear with his death. It fractured. And those fragments are still out there. Still dangerous. Still watching. Part 3 is where we find out what Amara becomes now that she's no longer running. What Jun-hyuk becomes now that he's learned to smile. And what threats are waiting in the shadows they haven't seen yet. Drop your theories in the comments. Who do you think Sarah Chen really is? What do you think Amara will choose to do now? And do you think Jun-hyuk can actually change? Or is he still the man who never smiled? Just better at pretending? Comment below, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because part 3 is going to answer questions you didn't even know you should be asking. See you there.